So, so, so pop pickers. Right, so today I'm on to chapter 3, Farrington, and where were we? We were in F block, and then into the art faculty, and then we were over at the Union Bar. Alright, the Union Bar, we used to go up to the Union Bar. Well, it was downstairs, it was like down in this cellar. It was big, it wasn't really like a cellar, it was just downstairs, you know. And what we did was used to drink tartan bitter. Oh, it was like piss when it was horrible. And then that's where you learnt how to put a lemonade top. So you bought a pint of tartan bitter, but it was sort of flat, you know, because bar staff must have been a bit thick, you know. There were anyway bar staff, I didn't like them, we never used to get on with them. We had this little bastard with glasses, with a big, he had a red face and a baldy head. Then you had this right tall blonde pillock from Coventry. A pair of them were a pair of arseholes, you know. Miserable bastards, in the wrong job and not able to look after beer properly. So this tartan bitter used to taste like piss, you know. That's what we say in England, you know, if the beer doesn't taste good, you say it tastes like piss. You know, which is the English word for urine. And most blokes know this kind of conversation if they go somewhere, but really lots of beers now in Britain are really well looked after pubs. Very, very good. It's very rare nowadays you get flat beer, but in my day when I was 19, fucking hell, we used to have some flat beer, you know, some crap. So you got people like John Jones saying, oh, you want to get 2 fingers of lemonade in that? Ask him, 2 fingers of lemonade. What I mean by that is top it up and put some lemonade on top, make it like a shandy, so it might fizz it up a bit, but it's basically trying to revive piss, and you can't do it, but it's just a way of stopping it tasting so bloody horrible, you know. So that's where I learnt about putting a lager top. Well, yeah, would you get a pint of lager? If it didn't taste right, you'd ask them to put a top on it, you put some lemonade on. And of course when you first start drinking, you learn things like have a pint of lager, and you say, oh, have a pint of lager and lime. But it's well known it's like a woman's drink, and you just have piss taken out of you by your mates if you carried on drinking lager and lime. But when you look back on it all, you think, well, lime's very good for you, you know, you're drinking very good kind of combinations. Lemonade, think about what lemonade is. People don't really, but it's full of lemons, isn't it? You know, I mean, there might not be a lot of lemons, 25% or whatever it might be, but at least you're getting some lemon into your body, you know, some fruit. So when people say about people who are boozers and alcoholics, you know, they forget they ingest a lot of fruit, you know, as they're going along. But pardon me, I digress. No, I don't digress. I could say that all the time, couldn't I? I could say that about everything. But we're in this novel now, chapter 3. And basically I just didn't feel like doing it today. I was just knackered. I had to go up and take a urine sample up to the local doctor's. And I went up and it was fairly snowy. Well, it was okay, you know, paths and roads were clearish. Meaning, what I mean by that is you could walk without constantly having to watch out that you don't slip on the ice or whatever. But it was still a bit dodgy. You had to be careful where you put your feet or you'd slip on ice, break your hip and end up in hospital. But tonight there's something slightly different going on, and that's I'm using what's called a plosive. Well, not a plosive, it's this little screen. It's like a little black screen you put over your microphone, and it blocks your voice from kind of making too many loud noises. You see it out recording studios, have loads of them, you know, all over the place, blocking off sound kind of thing. But I put one of those on, just because I thought I'll try and improve my sound quality, and also it sort of keeps you at a distance away from your microphone, and you kind of learn good habits of recording by using it. So I've got that on. I forget what it's called, pop filter or something it's called. Pop, yeah, pop screen. So it's to stop the word pop making a kind of banging noise in your microphone. For example, if you listen to any song, you'll never hear people singing something and it sounds like it's banging against the microphone. But if they didn't have all these studio technicians and as singers in bands learn how to keep a certain distance away from the microphone, otherwise it'd sound like somebody's banging, someone's banging. And it goes through the amplifier and makes a kind of banging noise. Plus you get feedback as well. Like yesterday I was sort of going to I did set up my mixer, and the sound going through it, if you'd have heard the feedback, it was just horrendous. So, but I don't really need to use that mixer, and I certainly can't plug it in this room. I'm going to have to get an extension lead that goes into the corridor, and then it'll be powered from the corridor, because I have a tendency to start adding more and more music, electrical equipment to electrical sockets, extension sockets. The problem is you'll overload. It's happened to me once. I had to have an electrician round, and so I did that tune called what was it called? Fuse Box from Hell. But really, it's Fuse Box from Heaven, because Fuse Box is very good because it stops things burning, setting fire. Basically, it cuts off the electricity, so it stops certain electrical. If you have too many electrical things, they'll set on fire. What it does, it cuts off the supply of electricity, because overloads. It overloads, and it breaks a circuit, or actually overloads that circuit, so you have to put another piece of fuse wire in because it's burnt through it. So that's about that. Now, I didn't really get on with my novel, but this is worth being chapter 3. You're writing about something, you're talking about something. I go for what Henry Miller says, and he says you've just got to write down anything. You've got to just put something out there, because you'll find your flow eventually. It'll start to gel, and you'll move it in a certain direction, the direction you want it to go, direction you want your readers to read about and to interest them. And with me, it will be something really arty-farty. It will be about when Henry Miller used to live at Place Clichy in Paris. It sort of always goes back to that, because I really love his novel Black Spring, and so Henry Miller is well worth watching on YouTube and just whatever on his own websites, or websites that have been made for him and about him, because Henry Miller was so inspiring to me when I used to read his books. You felt like you were in Paris, and you felt like you escaped into a whole different world, and it was the mundane world. It wasn't like it was doing anything particularly amazing, but he was really just describing where he had to lend money off people to get his book published, Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. And basically all his stories are about he's got no money, and later on he had some, but he was really short on money in the 1930s, and he's having to borrow money everywhere, or lend it, whatever you want to call it, to survive. And sometimes his greatest pieces are describing what he would buy from the shop, and he would buy all kinds of like smoked beef and cheeses and rye bread, and anyway, my 10 minutes is coming up, so we'll catch you in the next chapter. This is chapter 3, Farrington, and here it endeth.